All right. I forget what we have to do to notify people of the new thing.
It's just they're gonna have to catch up. I mean, I think
Okay.
it's just go to the URL. It'll notify. Some people are already there.
Got it.
I will let them know in the chat room.
Okay. Thanks, Dan.
Look
I
how
think
big
we're
my
only gonna-
shawl is getting.
I was gonna
Wow.
ask what you're
Holy cow.
making. Oh, it's beautiful.
Ah.
I love the colors.
Thank you. It's called Poldark
Ooh.
for the
TV show slash
it's like a
book.
BBC. Yeah.
Yeah.
The TV
Oh
show.
yeah.
Wow, Micah.
Thereabouts. Yeah.
I have so many more hats, but I don't have any of the rest of them within.
I just
Yeah,
Micah
mine are
seems
in
like-
a.
Mike
Yeah,
is-
mine are in the
It's-
other room.
It's because of iOS today. That's the
Oh.
only reason. Because we do hats. We
I
do
know
an
you do
app cap
app
session.
hats.
So, yeah.
Yep.
So I've always got hats nearby. I've got a pumpkin pie hat. It is a piece of pumpkin pie.
Oh, now I want
there's-
pumpkin pie.
I know.
Yeah.
I always want pumpkin pie.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lobster. No, it's a crab. I've got a tiger. I've got one that makes me look like a daisy.
Will you put
That's
that one on,
quite
please?
the variety.
Yes, I'll do the daisy one, although this
Okay.
one is much more complicated.
So I just FYI for a show note, I had just unprepared bless. So in favor of other things I thought we might need.
Aw, you're
Yes.
such a pretty flower.
Wow.
Wow.
Very
Wow.
druidic
Good
too.
I think
Yeah.
it needs to. Wait, hold on. I'm wearing it wrong. Hold on.
Really?
Yeah.
You sure? Looks
Ah,
great.
I see.
Oh, I see. That's the side at the main.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Aw, it's even better.
That's a little disturbing. I'm not
It
gonna lie.
is because it's
It
kind
is,
of like
yeah.
Stranger Things ish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking Little Shop of Horrors, but
Oh,
yes,
that
thank
also.
you.
Yeah, that too.
Very
See
good.
more.
All right. We're
We're
good.
back?
Yep. I mean, I don't know if everybody found their way back. There's only 15
All right.
people here, but that's enough for us to
That's enough.
finish out.
Sorry, live stream. Technology always
But-
disappears on us in the last couple minutes of an episode.
But now you
make
get
it
to look
exciting.
at Micah, who looks like a beautiful daffodil.
Aw, he's so cute
It's true.
and creepy.
All right.
Yeah.
So you are at the manor house in the ruins of Berez. You have decided to head to the churchyard, not too far away. I have asked you to make some stealth checks to avoid the patrols of horrible animated scarecrows that are just all over Berez.
I got a 14.
I got a 13.
I
knew
got
I
a
shouldn't-
28.
She's a rogue.
Good
Yeah.
for you. I got a 3.
I got
Aw.
a 13.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say it was not too hard. There's not. It seems like the churchyard is not a big source of the scarecrows' patrols. They're mainly seem to be focused around the various little remaining farmhouses in the neighborhoods of Berez, and so you get to the churchyard without incident.
Yay.
Through the fog, you come upon the empty shell of an old stone church, north of which is a cemetery of leaning gravestones enclosed by a disintegrating iron fence. Half of the cemetery looks like it is basically kind of just like sunk into the swamp. But on the edge of the cemetery, there is a statue. There is some kind of monument. Hidden by the fog, you see the outline of a slightly larger than life figure standing on kind of a stone pedestal.
How does it look like this church was originally multi-story, or is it just like a single room?
It looks single room. Looks very similar to the church that you spent a night in back in Barovia, Little Barovia.
Does it also have a basement?
It looks like it may have at one point, but it's kind of all collapsed in.
Gotcha.
This church is in lousy condition. It's really not a church anymore. It's decidedly an ex-church.
Is the statue itself stone?
I think we are inferring that there is a statue because there is a figure in the fog. I think you'd have to get a lot closer to know anything about that.
So do we want to?
That was the idea, right? To go and look
Yep.
at it and make sure
Yep.
we could see.
Can I just do a quick perception check on the sort of church itself to see if there's anything I can make out of the ruins? Oh, a crit. It's another 28.
You feel confident. You see kind of the remains of a pulpit. There is half of an iron bell sticking out of the marsh. It's just rubble. Lena.
Do you think I could grab any holy water?
No, there is nothing like that here.
Nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is clearly just ruined. We can move on.
Yep.
Nothing to see here.
All right, so you make your way to the short walk over to the kind of strange monument that has been set up here on the edge of the cemetery, whereas the graveyard and the church itself are just total ruins. This little area seems a little bit different. It's I guess there's a slight rise in the land here. It's a little bit drier, and there's just a little kind of plot of land here, 10 feet on a side, enclosed by a wrought iron fence that doesn't seem to be rusting away quite the same as the other things in Barez. And there is a slightly larger than life-size stone monument carved in the likeness of a kneeling peasant girl clutching a rose. Although her features are a little worn down by the weather, she bears a striking resemblance to one Irina Kalyana. Carved into the monument's base is an epitaph.
I never thought I would say this, but I'm glad our friend disappeared into that pond.
What does the epitaph say?
Crucible, you kind of lean down, look at it, and it says in kind of fancy lettering, Marina, taken by the mists.
Cool.
I would like to just look at the statue because, dwarf, I love my stone. And so I get to pretend that I'm proficient in history for a second and double my proficiency bonus, which is exciting, which will totally more than offset that -1 that I normally have.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 15.
Brildish, as you are studying the statue, you notice that the statue is kind of, the statue is standing on kind of a flat stone platform on top of the kind of, I don't know enough statue words. Plinth? Is that a word related to statues?
Yep.
All right, sure. I didn't make that word up. And you notice that there's kind of a visible seam all around it, as if it is, usually, if it was good dwarven craftsmanship, it might have all been carved from a single block. It seems like this was not.
I will point that out to my friends. You guys, there's a seam. Does it look to me like the statue is one piece and the block that it's on is a separate piece?
Yep.
I am not going to touch this statue.
Yeah. So is the statue of a size such that this would be concealing a compartment or a door? Or a trap. I mean,
what? Hey, doors come in both compartment and trap sizes.
Is it like
if it wasn't a trap, would it fit a person or a cubby?
I would have to be a pretty small person.
Okay.
So more like a cubby.
Yeah. So I'm thinking either this statue can, come alive and attack us, or it somehow hinged or something and it's hiding the sword right underneath it.
Remind me again, how large is the statue? How tall is the statue?
It's basically a life-size statue of a kneeling woman. So not that tall.
But it's on a pedestal.
Wait, Crucible, you and I might have the same idea.
Yeah.
I wonder if so.
Do you have the same spell I have?
I think so.
Yeah,
what spell is it?
Stone shape?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of us should do it.
So basically, you can take a medium-sized, basically a stone object of medium size or smaller, and if this is person size, I would assume it's medium sized.
I'll count it. Yep.
And you can transmute it. It says
into
form it into any shape that suits your purpose.
All right. Crucible and Elevor both start getting that little twitch. It's just who's going to transmute it first.
It's just the twinkle.
I like Crucible. Wait, how many? What is stone shape? Is it a 4th level spell?
It's a level 4. Yeah.
How many 4th level spells do you have?
I have only 1 slot.
Okay, sorry, that's what I meant. Slot. And is your 4th level spell one that is like bring people back to life spell?
No, I have that elsewhere. I have that wall of fire that I made last time, which I might want to hold in reserve if there's more scarecrows.
Okay.
But up to you. I can do it.
I'll do it. I'll do it. So that we can save that wall of fire, or ring of fire. Yeah. So Elevor, I guess, sort of puts his foot in front of Crucible at the last second, and marches up to the statue, and he. I think what I want to have happen is for the statue to sort of shape such that it looks like water kind of raising up and pouring out beside the place where the seam is, and as it pours out it kind of fills itself up into the shape of a goat. Does that make sense?
So you have transmuted the statue of a kneeling woman into a statue of a goat next to the plinth.
Yeah, because it's what.
Yeah,
well, it's my understanding that there's like an opening there.
Yep.
That hopefully,
Not
if the statue's out of the way,
necessarily an
we can
opening,
get
but
to
a seam for
a
sure.
Yep.
seam.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Everyone is probably some degree of impressed by your stone shaping magic, Elevor. The statue atop the plinth has been totally transformed into a convincing statue of a goat down to the weird eyes. And you now see, having transformed the statue, there is indeed basically just a big empty hollow compartment inside the plinth that is now available, open.
And empty?
No, I mean, no one's looked in it yet.
Oh,
Let's look in it.
We all look
All
at
right,
it. Everybody peers
Not that
over.
tall.
You all peer in. And
It's like it's the camera
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like
Oh,
in the thing looking up,
five
so we all
heads.
like peer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aragon is like, I'm here too.
And then Lena just puts her hand
Yes,
on top of his head, and,
pushes him out of frame,
the
yeah.
way.
The compartment seems to be a decent size to only have a single object in it that does not take up very much space. It looks like, there's some kind of something in there wrapped in an old tarp. Doesn't look like it could be very big.
What do you mean by very big? Bigger than a bread box?
Smaller than a bread
Baby's arm?
box.
Can I inspect for traps?
Yeah,
All
please
right.
do.
Lena?
And I
this
rolled
is like
19 to a perception
17.
check.
this hat is like an unfriendly turtleneck. It's choking me a lot, so I'm going to change.
Yeah, I would encourage you not to be choked.
From the side, it
It's
looks
only
like a
for
yellow
D&D.
shark, though.
Yeah. So, Lena, did you roll something?
Yep, I got a 17 and Imra got a 19.
All right. The bottom of the statue does not appear to be trapped in any way. It's just a stone compartment concealing something wrapped in a little piece of tarp.
Okay.
Want me to
Lena's
get
gonna
it?
reach in and get it.
All right, Lena, you reach in and pull out the thing. It kind of something metal and heavy kind of tumbles out of the
It better not be an
cloth it's been
axe.
wrapped
If it's
in
an axe,
as you're
I
holding it out.
swear to God.
Out.
It is in some ways similar to an axe in that it is made of metal and heavy. It appears to be the hilt of a sword.
Oh, so we unwrap it and we're like, what?
Wait, by that definition, Crucible is also an axe.
He's at least 5 axes. So,
Is there any sort
he's
of
done a lot of axe
iconography?
swallowing. Where he's,
you are inspecting the hilt of the sword, and it just feels kind of warm and tingly in your hand, Lena.
I think you know what you need to do here.
There's some fancy kind of inlaid crystal in the hilt. It's quite impressive, though it seems to just be half a sword. And as you are kind of looking at it, you hear a voice in your head that is, the sword talking to you, Lena, and the sword says, "Finally." And you know what you need to do, as if you just think it. There is suddenly a beam of light as a blade of holy energy emerges from the sword's hilt, and you are carrying a sun sword, a powerful magic artifact that you will use to slay the undead. There is a cheer. There is the sizzle of the sun sword in the soupy, foggy air of Berez, and then there is the sound of groaning as several undead creatures rise up out of the cemetery and converge upon you. let's be honest, they just got a sun sword. They're going to murder these zombies. But how quickly will they do it? Will they take on Baba Lazaga? What is the deal with the green light? We have still have that hanging over our heads. And does Strahd know that they're coming for him with a veritable old-timey lightsaber? For answers to questions such as these, tune in next time to Total Party Kill. The end.
Woo!
That's so good.
Yay!
Yeah,
Work.
I was excited because as soon as you said the hilt of a sword, I just finished re-listening to Shocktober, where you were also carrying like a sun blade.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I know where this is going.
Yep.
I'm 2 for 2 sun blades, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, dual wield, man.
Yeah. So, Jane, I believe that this is in stuff and you could add it to your character sheet.
Yeah.
This is
so much
basically
better than a blood spear.
Yeah.
Oh,
It is a little bit better.
Please let it have the finesse property. Please let it
Or
have
that
the finesse property.
That
we
creepy.
may have to
thing I
add
had.
it.
Oh, it does.
Not.
It has
Okay.
it. It has
I think
it.
it is
Thank
one,
God.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So the Sun Sword is a legendary sword with attunement.
God, I wish I
Sun
could use
Sword,
an axe.
It is sentient.
Okay.
It's an artifact.
Yeah.
Oh.
What?
It is a sentient artifact. It has some stats.
I love that it's got a voice.
Yeah, and it its goal in life is to destroy Strahd, and free the land of Barovia from evil, because it wants revenge for the loss of its crystal blade.
This is giving me nostalgia. My very, very first Dungeons and Dragons character ever had basically a sunblade, flame blade, which was also intelligent and spoke to me.
Yeah.
I called it Moltar.
So I suspect the Sun Sword has some pretty powerful sword stats, and it does radiant damage and all that kind of stuff. So
This has made my week.
Yes.
Woo!
So, live stream / bootleg. We are going to transition from Total Party Kill into the much requested by Erica and one other person, Dog and Pony Sports Corner. We're going to take a quick break before we do that. So we're just going to give people a minute or two, and then we'll come back and be dumb about sports for a couple minutes. How's that?
Ding, 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 ding.
All right. Be right back. I'm going to
BRB.
good sign. In honor of the Incomparables' 10th anniversary, that's right, the Incomparable launched 10 years ago this week. We're going to do a very special Dog and Pony after show. We are calling this the Dog and Pony Sports Corner. Dan, roll Sports Corner music. Sports Corner!
Whoa.
Yeah. As we established in one of our pre-shows last time, there are some nerds out there that would be amused by nerds who know very little about sports, with the exception of Erica, and maybe other people talking about sports. Specifically, we have convened this panel here to debate and discuss the premises of various sports teams. We're really focused here just on the premises, not necessarily. I realized, even as someone who knows nothing about sports, cares very little about sports, there's a variety of things about sports I have opinions about. I have opinions about their logos and color schemes. I have lots of opinions about their mascots, but this is merely opinions about their namesakes or their names or the premises for their teams. I'm Tony Sindelar. My expertise with sports is that I may have attended a minor league baseball game in Omaha 20-something years ago. Records are sketchy from that era. I live in the city of Boston, a place where sports is basically a bonus religion, but have never attended a sports game myself. I do not think I have ever seen a sports game in its entirety on TV. Next up, joining us in sports expertise is Dan Morin, noted hat wearer.
Is hat wearing a sport? Because I am all over it.
Dan, for most of his life, wears a Boston Red Sox hat. Most of his life, which is basically 1/4 of a Boston camouflage. If he was like, I don't know, smoking a cigarette and drinking an iced coffee, that would be like you just blend into.
I don't like either of those
Boston.
things, though.
Yeah.
So good news.
Yeah.
Yes. Am I giving my sports background?
Establish your sports bona fides here.
Okay. I have been a baseball fan for a long time. I don't follow it super closely, but I went to many a Red Sox game in my youth. I've been to many minor league baseball games across this great nation of ours and many other Major League Baseball games as well. In college, I had season tickets to our college hockey team, so I'm familiar with hockey. And beyond that, I think my only other sports qualification is that, like Tony, I played a lot of Ultimate Frisbee. It's a sport,
Questionably
Tony.
a sport.
It's a sport, Tony.
Yeah, I know. Next up, it's Aline Sims. Aline, tell us about sports and you.
Okay, when I was in 4th grade, the Colorado Rockies were established, and I got to go to their first home game.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I'm not actually a baseball fan, really, but I do go to baseball games when my mom's in town if the Rockies are playing whatever, like the Diamondbacks when I lived in Phoenix. And I used to manage a basketball team in high school, and that's about the extent of it.
Wow. Yeah. I almost called you Elevor. Micah Sargent, would you like to explain the relevance of sports to your life?
Not too super relevant to me these days, Tony, but
same. And I've started a secret after show podcast about it.
That is how that often works. When I was but a youth, I played, football, soccer, a little bit of basketball, but I was just not good at it.
But you're so tall.
That's what they all say.
Yeah. Also, I love this. Like, oh yeah, I'm not really into sports. Says Micah, who has played all sports ever.
Okay, when I was a kid.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my nickname was Sportsmaster, and I fought crime.
Whoa.
That's also true.
He is a villain. First of all, let's be clear.
Yeah.
And then my dad has, for most of his life, been a basketball coach. So I do know a thing or two about basketball. But that's the extent of my sporty sportsness.
All right. Jane Ritt, you're next. Jane, I know that you have attended sports events. You can't lie about that.
Tony, I don't participate in sports. I am a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the end? That's the end?
That's it?
It was
said with finality.
Yeah. I mean, really. So I don't care about
Jane,
what
important
is
question.
happening.
Can your husband hear you right now?
He knows.
Close the
he
door.
knows. My husband is a noted sports liker. So they are often.
It's pronounced sport liquor.
Yeah, it's pronounced insufferable sports liquor.
Yeah. Please never say that about my husband again. No, so there are often sports on, and I will just sit and I want him to have a good time. He watches my stuff, I watch his stuff, but I'm like, I don't care what the men are doing. I when it's women, I try to care, but it's very difficult for me. I do appreciate games where numbers go up. In video games, so I would hope that would go to sports, but it does generally not.
All right, and finally, the Incomparables resident jock who beats us up and takes our lunch money, Erica Ensign, noted sports podcast haver. Hi, Erica.
Yeah. I am super not a jock. I never played a single sport ever. In gym class, someone once made me cry when we were playing volleyball. So that's my history with actual sports. But I did grow up in Wisconsin, and I was a Packers fan. So I followed them mostly when they sucked. And when they started being good, I kind of ceased to follow them because I like cheering for an underdog, I guess. And then later I got married to a Canadian and therefore fell in love with hockey.
Yeah, it was
like any true jock, you got married to a Canadian.
Yeah,
yep. That's how it works. Weirdly though, I fell in love with hockey in Tampa. So go figure. Yeah, my first NHL game was Tampa versus Washington in Tampa.
Wow.
And I loved it. And yeah, if you would like to know how deep I have gone into the Oilers, I could tell you why the colors of the Edmonton Oilers are blue and white and orange as the hat that I'm wearing right now. It's a great story.
Is that sports knowledge? I have questions.
I think that's
we'll save that for the second episode. So here's what I have done, panel and listeners. That's right. This is a podcast for which I have done the mildest of homework. I went and made a list of all of the Major League Baseball teams. Teams.
You're going to be here a while.
Regular sports guy. No, we're here. I've made a list of all of the Major League Baseball teams. I have appended to that list a list of all of the NHL hockey league teams. I have appended to that list all of the NBA sports teams, and I have appended to that list a list of all of the NFL I keep saying games, I mean teams. I have a list of 123 teams that play Major League sports. I know those are not all of the Major League sports. I played Ultimate Frisbee, again, a thing that is questionably a sport that gets made fun of a lot. I know there are other very important sports, but those seem to be the ones that, I don't know, people won't shut up about. So that's why they're on my list. I have taken that list of 123 team names. I have put them in random.org, and we are now going to do some bracketing based on the premises of sports teams. That's right, really just their premises, their names. So first up in our competition, we have the Brooklyn Nets, an NBA team, versus the Dallas Stars, an NHL team I was previously unfamiliar with.
Stars, to my opinion, they cut through nets, like if they were throwing stars. So I think the Stars win.
All right.
Giant balls of fiery gas.
Yeah.
Like
massive orbs of plasma versus
try to catch
net.
that in a net.
Also, can we talk about how nets kind of suck because they sort of hurt fish and other sea creatures?
Dolphins.
I'm gonna say that nets is a lot of weak sauce.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm a little
what
bit.
are you, a cartoon dog catcher?
Yeah, it's also not a great name. Like it's just.
And the
Well,
Dallas
Nets,
Stars' main
more like
color
next.
is called Victory Green. Therefore, they should win.
Here's my story about Nets. I don't know if any of you remember. Yes, I have a Nets. Micah, don't laugh at me.
I'm sorry. It was just, excuse me. Here's my story about Nets.
No, this will be great. This is all now that it
Wait
has
till
a
you hear his
lengthy,
story about stars.
now that it has a lengthy preamble, certainly it will all pay off. In the 80s, the Ninja Turtles were a popular everything.
They were.
And there was a Ninja Turtles cereal, which I thought was it was one of those cereals that was horrible for you because it was roughly 50% marshmallows. They had marshmallows of all the various weapons, and they were, very crude, simple things. But my favorite part about it I thought this is stupid even as a small child, was that it was marshmallows and then things that looked kind of like like a crosshatchy, like a Chex kind of cereal, and it was clear that it was like, we just need a vector for something that's not marshmallow in order for this legally to count as cereal. But on the box, they said that those were nets because that's what ninjas use. Which I'll point out, marketing.
They did.
Rarely do they did, but it was mainly like, we need something that's not marshmallow, or we can't legally call this cereal. So, in conclusion, nets are stupid. Do we have? This seems like a pretty strong in favor of Stars advancing to the next round.
Basis
Stars
school
advances.
nets are dumb.
All right.
Also,
Stars.
Tyler Sagan marched in the Black Lives Matter rallies, and he is one of the Dallas Stars.
I assume that you know that because that is hockey and not basketball.
Also,
Correct. I didn't know there was a team called the Brooklyn Nets until just now.
I did know that, but my cousin also, one of my cousins is a big hockey player and hockey fan. He went to school in Canada, though he's not a Canadian. Lived in Dallas for a while. Also, he regularly drove Zambonis at various ice rinks. So, yeah. So I have to go, and since he lived in Dallas for a while, I have to go with that.
All right. So Stars beat Nets. I'm not going to record the vote because it seemed like it was pretty much unanimous. Next up in our contest of team names, team premises. Again, we're going across sports for now, but that's not guaranteed because this list is randomized, as brought to you by random.org. This was a matchup that I was really looking to see in my premise for this stupid podcast. I was excited that it was toward the top of our 120 something random teams here. It is the Utah Jazz, which basically I think is funny that is a team that exists, versus the Pittsburgh Steelers as a premise. Jazz versus
I did have a friend in college who insisted that Steelers were the name for people who steal things.
No, it's not spelled that way.
I know that, but you don't call someone who steals Steeler.
So I'm going to say,
also,
yeah,
I believe it's called the Jazz. Someone can back me up on this. I believe it's called the Jazz because I think they were originally in New Orleans, and it made more sense than Utah, noted jazz capital.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, because Utah Jazz is stupid. The question, I guess, here is, are we matching up the concept of Utah Jazz or simply the concept of jazz? I'll be honest. I mean,
The genre
sounds pretty
of
good.
music versus the genre of
Steelworkers?
Well, I'll be honest. I don't. Is that what a Steeler is? Like, I don't know what a Steeler is.
Yeah, that's what a Steeler is.
Jazz never built a building for me. I'm sorry.
Tony, I can say with my basketball knowledge,
Steel never built any
that
culture
is
for
what a
me.
Steeler is.
Erica, it built a building we call America.
When I hear jazz, I think of that fantastic line from a B movie. You like jazz, and so for me, jazz is always going to beat Steels.
I'm for Jazz over Steel. Sorry.
I'm not a Jazz fan to start with.
Wow. All right. I think things are complicated. Aline, Jazz versus Steel. How you feeling?
Steel. I mean, it's a D&D podcast. Originally, this was a D&D podcast.
No,
originally it was a jazz podcast that then got co-opted.
But I think just for the sake of being on brand, it has to be the Steelers, and I'm with Erica. I don't love jazz music.
All right, let me run down and just get a quick head count here because it seems like we've got a split panel. So first up, Dan.
Elbow turned orange and I'm confused.
Sorry, just ignore that.
All right, Dan, Jazz or Steel?
Jazz.
Also, Jazz or Steel sounds like that would be a pretty good War Force name. Jazz or Steel.
Yeah,
or Transformer. A Transformer name.
I feel like it's a weird game show, like Family Feud style. Like, all right, now you have the option to Jazz or Steel this round.
7 or C.
Like
all right, that's 1 for Jazz. Aline, you said Steel.
Definitely.
Jane, Jazz or Steel?
jazz.
All right, that's 2 for Jazz. Micah, Jazz or Steel?
You like jazz? I do. Jazz.
All right, wow, I'm surprised. Erica, Jazz or Steel?
Steel.
Wow, okay, this is tricky here. We're at 3-2. I was kind of hoping that you would all come down in a strong way and I wouldn't have to express an opinion about anything.
But if you express an opinion, it ends up being either a tie or not a tie.
Or not a tie.
Yeah, but you still have to go with your heart.
Listen to your heart.
You know what?
Jazz.
Here's what we're gonna do. I think Steel is stronger. It's a better concept for a sports team, and overwhelmingly, if they were not the Utah Jazz, I think I would have to give it to them. But because they are the Utah Jazz, and that is stupid, they are eliminated, and Pittsburgh Steelers advance.
I would
round.
like to. Can I lodge a formal protest?
Yes.
No.
I'm wanting. I'm wanting.
You have to write
Anyone
it on
else?
a post-it on the cover of somebody else's book.
Okay, damn it! But I have my books right
A
here.
book-
Hold on.
No, a book that one of us has written.
All right, we're gonna do one. We're gonna do one
Please
more.
hold.
We're gonna do
I've got a
one more and
biography of
call it a
Ted
night.
Williams. Does that work?
I've lost track of which sports leagues we have officially covered at this point or not. I think we may have hit all four as of this round. Our third round of Dog and Ponies Sports Corner here. We have the Houston Texans, an NFL team I was unfamiliar with, versus the Toronto Blue Jays, Major League Baseball. It turns out if you are not in the Northeast, I don't really know what you are. So
Texans versus Blue Jays.
Okay,
the
easy.
Houston Texans
Easy.
versus the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm gonna give a preamble here while you're thinking about your stuff. I'm torn here. I think Blue Jays, great bird, quality bird. Well,
I
I mean,
saw one the other
vicious.
day.
They're
It was
vicious, mean.
awesome
I mean, as
looking.
far as birds that you were going to name, I think I'm a little bit surprised how often sports names their teams after things that I think of as prey species, such as small birds. But
Right.
Blue Jays, mean. I'll give them that. I don't know if Blue Jays have any strong connection to the city of Toronto. I live in the city of Boston, where we are by law only allowed to wear Red Sox. So that makes sense.
Read that.
But I'm just gonna say, so Blue Jays, not the most threatening of animals. Kind of question those as a premise for a team name. But at the same time, they have been matched up against the Houston Texans, which sounds like the laziest thing they could do possible.
You can't
Yeah.
just-
I also
naming your.
I believe that there is more than one. Again, this is Tony's Dog and Pony Sports Corner, where I know very little about sports, but I know this: there is more than one football team in Texas. That's true, right?
That is true.
Yes.
I'm not
Yes.
sure they were
Probably
originally
true.
in Houston either. They might have been in someplace else. I don't
All right.
remember.
Yeah, they were in New Orleans. It was weird.
Ah,
I mean, at
the
least it was-
Utah Texans. Yes.
It was,
They move around. Everybody moves
yeah.
one seat to the left. Jazz goes to
All
Utah.
right.
The Utah Texans
So-
go to Texas. It's really a whole thing.
So it seemed which is stupider, Houston Texans or Toronto Blue
The
Jays
Texans.
is the question.
Obviously the
Texans.
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 No offense
Yeah.
to anyone living in Texas, but you need to come up with better names.
And
All
I
right.
hate Blue Jays. So even though I have an absolute I just despise the animal, it still has to beat out the Texans, because if
All right.
you've ever met a Texan, they've already let you know practically before you met them that they're a Texan.
Same thing's true of a Blue Jay, though.
True. Yeah.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Darn it.
No,
Hey,
I
a Blue
did-
Jay in here.
I saw a Blue Jay the other day. It was perfectly friendly.
All right.
I'm
To
saying
you?
there's a thing called jaywalking. There's a thing called Texan walking, right?
Okay, but the way that a blue jay is friendly to a human is by not attacking them.
Exactly.
like
They're
they
so
can't
mean
like
to robins. They're
demonstrate
horrible.
like, oh, I've baked you some muffins. Like,
All right.
But a Texan can. That's true.
That is true, but
Final
Never
round.
has. They can
Uh,
and never have.
Final round. It is Aline's beloved Carolina? Nope, that's the next one. I'm reading one line at a time. This is how this works. It's Aline's beloved Colorado Rockies, which I am just learning are a Major League Baseball team.
They
Because
are.
I was able to
A team-
enjoy Aline's story
Yeah.
without knowing what sport they play.
A team formed in your lifetime, Tony.
Indeed. I mean, I'm getting older every day. And they are matched up here with the Carolina Panthers, an NFL team that I was familiar with.
I would like to point out that the Carolina Panthers are Black Panthers, which is not to be confused with the Florida Panthers, a hockey
are
team,
Jaguars.
which are actual Florida Panthers. A Florida Panther is a type of animal that is not a black cat. So there you
Okay.
go.
What is that? Is it like a mountain lion type thing?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
panther gets
They're all
used as one of
goat.
those weird
Yeah.
words that's, doesn't mean.
Yeah,
I will
but
have to say
that's-
So
this.
is it a
We will-
pony or is it
our-
a horse?
Catamount or mountain lion or cougar.
Puma.
Or, yeah.
I gotta say, like, although Panthers great, some of my favorite big cats, I also feel like Aline, I have fond memories of the Colorado Rockies, and I did wear a Rockies hat for a while. So
And their
Really?
colors are great.
the colors
Their
are great.
so
Purple,
good.
yeah, not a lot of purple teams. So
My my
I don't know
my
a lot
prob-
about sports, but I know that there's not going to be a lack of cat themed teams for us to deal with.
yeah, how many mountain name teams are?
Yeah, and
Well, I
live in a
like this-
province where the Rockies are, like the Rocky Mountains go through Alberta, and I feel like
I like it
beautiful.
as an environment for a team. Like, I think, let's be honest, an overwhelming majority of the team names are either some kind of animal or a person, right? So the fact that they went with an environmental one is, I think that's pretty good. The Mounties, not the Mounties, the Rockies.
Okay.
Rockies, pretty good iconography. I mean, I'm just gonna point out, I think a panther can live in the Rockies, but the Rockies cannot live in a panther.
Yeah, but I bet
Only
the
metaphorically.
Rockies have killed an awful lot of panthers.
It's true.
Yeah, no panther has
And
killed the Rockies.
no panther has killed
That's
a Rocky
right.
yet.
Mhm.
So, quick rundown. We'll go in reverse order this time. Erica, Rockies or Panthers?
Rockies.
Micah,
Rockies.
Jane,
Rockies.
Aline,
Rockies.
Dan. I think I know your vote. Rockies.
Yo,
It is
Adrian.
Nah.
I don't understand that reference.
Okay.
It is,
There's a reference to the movie Rocky.
which is a reference to the city of Pittsburgh, that's
California.
Philadelphia.
Pony.
All right. So with that, round 1 of the Dog and Pony Sports Corner is concluded. Again, our matchups: Dallas Stars beat out Brooklyn Nets. Pittsburgh Steelers beat out the Utah Jazz. Can't not laugh at that one a little bit. Toronto Blue Jays thrashed the Houston Texans, and the Colorado Rockies are undisputed champs over the Carolina Panthers. Will we ever do this again as our ridiculous post show? I don't know.
So.
I made the whole spreadsheet. Why not? If you enjoyed this, let us know. If you didn't, tell our enemies. Thank you for listening. Good night.
Yay!
Yay.
Good
I
night,
made a
live
spreadsheet.
stream.